Hello everyone and welcome to my video and channel. My name is Muta. Today I just wanted to go over with you a deck that I've been kind of maining lately, and that's Iron Thorns EX. I've done a few videos on Iron Thorns. Anyone that's familiar with the channel knows that I'm a big fan. But I want to go over 3 different events I ran Iron Thorns with you today. The first 2 happened at Louisville Regionals. It was the Day 0, the Friday Challenge, and the Sunday Day 2 Cup, for those that didn't make Day 2. I ran Snorlax in the main event, but I actually ran Thorns in the Challenge and the Cup, respectively. And I also want to talk about, the title of the video where I won a League Cup with Thorns as well. We'll go over that one last because they kind of all have a sort of a follow-up that leads into the final build of the deck. So that's kind of why I want to talk about the first 2 events. So starting with the challenge, we drove all night into Louisville. We got there Friday morning. We basically rolled out of the car from sleeping into the convention center for this challenge. And so starting off, I actually went with I debated putting in 3 cologne. I had 2 cologne in my deck. I debated putting a third one. My friends are like, no, you probably won't hit any Pidgeot control or anything like that in a challenge. Yeah, I'm like, fair enough. Okay, I'll keep the 2 cologne in. So I kept the 2 cologne in. I can't remember what I kept in place for the 3rd cologne, but first round I hit Terapagos. They just didn't get set up. It is what it is. Second round, I hit Bird Control. I hit Pidgeot Control. I was memeing. My friend likes to call it Birth Control, so I was memeing here on Twitter. But he hit the triple Mimikyu. I couldn't really do anything about it. I pretty much just scooped at that point because, like, dude, you got it. I don't have the 3 cologne. I had no point in dragging it out. Fair enough. So I was a little salty there. At that point, I was like, man, I should have put in the 3rd cologne. At least I would have had a fighting chance, but it is what it is. Round 3, I hit a Guardy player. He had a pretty rough start, and I was actually, I believe he had just Iono'd me into a new hand. So I was actually looking at my hand, not really paying attention. And a judge actually stopped him in mid turn and like, how did you do that? I look over and he had put down a Radiant Greninja and tried to conceal cards. Or he did conceal cards. So he already looked. The judge came over, gave him a double prize penalty. He pretty much scooped after that because I'd already taken, I believe, 2 knockouts, and I think I lost zoned 2 of his Ralts or something like that. He was not having a good time, so he just scooped. Round 4, I hit a Banette deck. He hit the heads on the Shuppet flip, so item locked me, and then he Poltergeist donked me. So is what it is. It happens. Round 5, I hit Lost Box. I thought it would be kind of a tough matchup because like you're lost zoning stuff, but you kind of help them. But I was lost zoning a lot of their stuff pretty early on, so he just kind of had a rough start. He just couldn't get going. And then so round 6, this is funny. I actually got paired up against one of the 2 other people that rode with me to Louisville. We got paired up. I sat down across from her, and I knew she was playing Bird Control. She knew I was playing Thorns. She knew I only had 2 cologne. I knew she had triple Mimikyu. So same story as round 2. She immediately set up the triple Mimikyu. I was just hoping she prized 2 of them and maybe a heavy ball or some chance, by some chance. But she went ahead and hit the triple Mimikyu. I pretty much GG scooped immediately, shook her hand, and we actually went on and looked at vendors and stuff and hung out for a little bit since the round ended so quick. But around that time, apparently, and this, I did not realize this until we get to round 7. Round 7, I get paired up against my other friend who rode with me. So 2 in a row of people I traveled with. So that was kind of interesting. But as I sit down to face him, I could not find my Thorns deck. It was nowhere to be found. So I'm freaking out. I go over to a judge and I'm like, hey, I lost my deck. And actually the guy beside me, he overheard me. He's like, I think they found a deck. So The one judge took me over to Lost and Found, which took me to another judge, which took me to another judge. No one found my deck. Finally, one of the judges working the cup found out what was going on, came over and handed me my deck. I told him like, "Hey, I'm playing Iron Thorns. This is my deck." He's like, "Oh, I know what you're playing," and he handed it to me like, "Now here, you make sure your opponent doesn't have any fun." So I went to go face my friend in round 7. I did end up beating him, though it's a tough matchup with Goldingo. So we finished 4-3. We ended up with about 280 prize wall tickets, which is effectively 28 packs, so not too bad for going 4-3 in a challenge. I did end up earning points from this challenge, but since my best finish limit had already happened, since it was better than I believe top 32 at the challenge or top 16 at the challenge, it effectively I didn't get any points for that challenge. So I got some nice prize support, but no points. So moving on to the day 2 of the cup. The day 2 of the cup, or the day 2 cup, as I'll call it in Louisville. The night before I said I'm putting in 3 cologne. Screw it. I know I'm probably gonna hit people. There's gonna be people that were at the challenge, and sure enough, there were. I saw the Pidgeot controller beat me round 2. I did not face him, but I did see him. So I went ahead and threw in the canceling cologne. All right. So round 1, I immediately hit Pidgeot control. They set up 2 Mimikyu. I was waiting for the third, but he never set up the third. So I got the cologne off and knocked out the first one, but I did not have the Lost City in play. So he actually put a Pidgey down and Thorntoned the Mimikyu back out. So we had double Mimikyu situation again. So I Arvined, got the cologne, because this time I had the Lost City in hand, I believe. Or I think I Colressed. I end up with the cologne and the Lost City in hand. I think it took a couple turns, but I did end up getting the KO with the Lost City. Now, at this point, he's promoted the second Mimikyu, the one that had been Thorntoned, and he even said, like, there's no way you run a third cologne, right? And I had research in hand. I researched, prayed, and I hit the cologne. And dude just, like, he kind of was upset. I'm not going to lie. Like, no doubt about it. Dude was just salty. He just, like, who the hell runs cologne or 3 cologne in Thorns? And I told him, I said, the guy who hit 2 bird control on the challenge 2 days ago. That's who runs 3 cologne. So immediately the tech won me the game. And it's funny because the colognes never came into effect the rest of the event, but it won me the matchup I needed it to. So honestly, I am a believer in the triple cologne Thorns, honestly. So yeah, round 1, that's how we won. Round 2, we hit Raging Bolt. I believe they started, I think they started with an Ogre Pawn, so they had a pretty rough start. You know, they just were struggling. They had to manually attach. They weren't hitting their Sadas. You know, we made short work of it. Round 3, my opponent was so cool. Round 3, turns out we actually had a mutual friend, because I have a friend online, and turned out he knew who he was because he was locals with him. So, and they were like in a friend group and all that. So that was really cool. He played Raging Bolt. He had a bit of a better start, but still not that great of a start. I was able to kind of like play Penny and get around him from not being able to one-shot me, and just kind of deny him prize cards. So, really cool dude though. GG to him. Round 4, I finally hit my first loss. Hit probably one of my worst matchups, Turtle Noir. He had the nuts, simple as that. Round 5, I hit Goldingo. Actually, a friend of mine, someone I had just met in person there in Louisville. I hit his wife in round 5. And, she was a vibe as well. She was really nice. I actually ended up having to call the judge on myself because I took 2 knockouts and forgot to take prize cards. Luckily, I had not shuffled my hand into my deck at any point in time, so they were able to just basically give me a warning and let me take my prize cards. So, no harm, no foul. But, I didn't hesitate to call the judge on myself there. So, and then round 6, this was a 7-round cup. I just realized I did not actually post what my final round was, but round 6, I hit Future Box. Yeah, the one guy in the whole convention center that brought Future Box was there. So I hit that, and feels bad, but is what it is. And then round 7, I hit Dragapult. There was a lot of Dragapult around me. I just kind of dodged most of them that day. My one friend hit like 3 of them that day in the cup, so, and he was playing Thorns as well. So it is what it is. But so yeah, round 7 we hit Dragapult. So funny enough, I thought that the cup. I was told the cup had a top 64. And then I looked and realized we didn't hit the kicker for top 64, and I thought it was just a top 16 kicker, but turns out it was actually a top 32 kicker, and I actually got just barely squeaked into top 32. I got 30th in the cup, so I actually walked away with about 16 points. Yeah, so at least I walked away with Louisville with a few points. So a couple weeks after that, I went ahead and went to a cup, I believe last weekend, and I actually took Lugia to a cup, and I did pretty bad at this early cup that was right down the road from the cup I eventually won. I had about 30 minutes to go, about 30 minutes down the road to get to this cup. I actually called the guy running, and I said, hey, can I'm on my way. I'll be there like right at the start time. Just wait for me. I've got my deck list ready because I always print an extra deck list when I do this. So, at this point, I was switching decks. I'm like, I'm not taking Lugia. It didn't work out for me at this last place. I'm going to try Thorns, see how it works for me there. So, yeah, so it worked out for me pretty well. So it was actually the smallest the league cup I've ever done in my life. There was I believe 9 masters total. I know it said 8 in the tweet, but I believe there was 9 because there was a bye each round. I actually lent out my Lugia deck to a friend of mine who wasn't going to play in the event, but he was there. He took another friend to the event, and I convinced him to play Lugia in the event, and I'm glad he did, even though he had a terrible run. Because he was the reason that it went from a top 2 point finish to a top 4 point finish for the cup. There was not a top cut, but top 4 did get points. So he helped us out a lot there. So thank you, Vic, for jumping in and basically taking one for the team, because he pretty much hit 2 auto losses immediately after that. And I did not hit him with Thorns, but he hit the other Thorns player that was there, unfortunately. But okay, so yeah, round 1, I hit my friend that I hit in Louisville in the challenge. He's playing Gold Dingo again. Really tough matchup for Dingo. I just lost City his gimme ghouls and just made it where he was just not having a good time. Pretty straightforward. Round 2, Bennett Guardy. That one scares me a little bit. Bennett is I got donked by it at the earlier I talked about this, so I definitely wasn't looking forward to going into that matchup, but it was a tough matchup. It came very, very close. Luckily, just barely, I was able to squeak by. There was actually a point where he assumed a Poltergeist was going to have a knockout, and I had an Iron Thorns in hand, and I think like an energy or something, and he was assuming they were going to be all trainers because that deck has so many trainers. So basically, he whiffed knockout by like just a hair because he miscalculated what my hand would be, and that was probably the only reason I was able to win that. And it felt really good because it was against a person who I kind of had a bit of a chip on my shoulder for, like a friend of mine, no doubt, good guy, but it just seemed like in all the years I've been playing, every time I get paired against him at an event, I lose. So to finally get a win over him just felt good, because I feel like I beat him in testing all the time, but I could never just get an actual like sanctioned win on him. So that felt really good. And then round 3, I faced a player that I've played in the past against. I was playing Snorlax then, but I've played him in the past, like a local. And he was playing Miraidon back then, but he was playing. So I assumed he was playing Miraidon this time, but he actually flipped over Charizard. And so I felt pretty good about the matchup, though it was very close. He was running Cologne. At the end, it basically came down to a coin flip on the Crushing Hammer, and I got rid of one of his energy, so he had to manually attach another energy. I tried another Crushing Hammer and flipped tails, so I went for literally just a judge and pray, and he whiffed the energy, and I was able to get the second shot on the Charizard, or I think it was I think I bossed something up to win, but basically I was able to deny him the final energy attachment for Zard because at that point he was one-shotting me for everything. So kind of a weird cup finish. Like honestly, I don't even feel the best for winning a 3-round cup with no top cut, but you know, a cup win is a cup win. The mat's really cool. I think I like it a lot better than the Dragapult mat I won the last cup I won. So yeah, we're up 2 cups this season, which is pretty insane considering before this season I had a top 8 finish at a cup and that was it. So pretty crazy. Thank you so much for listening to my rambling. Oh, real quick before I go, I went with 2 cologne in this because I knew there wasn't any stall or anything. So I would say really the colognes are just kind of something to play around with. If you think you're going to see stall or Pidgeot control, I actually think triple cologne is worth running. If they Eerie or they Misfortune one away, it sucks, but a lot of lists are cutting back down to 2 Mimikyu, so you might be able to just give up 1 cologne and just use the other 2. They might only assume you run 2 because most lists either run 2 or none. So if they set up 3 Mimikyu, you know, you have a fighting chance with triple cologne. But if you want to cut the triple cologne altogether and put in more consistency cards, be my guess as well. I think that is a valid strategy as well. So thanks for listening to my rambling, guys. You know, give Iron Thorns a shot at your locals, at your cups challenges. I think it just works and will get you points. And honestly, I think it's still just going to be pretty powerful into the upcoming meta. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I will see you next time. Love y'all. Stay safe and peace out.